If two people are truly destined to be together, there is one psychological pattern that always appears, regardless of culture, background, personality type, or life circumstances. It is not constant passion. It is not dramatic chemistry. It is not even the absence of conflict. The one thing that always happens is this: they consistently choose each other, especially when it is inconvenient, uncomfortable, or uncertain. In psychology, we call this secure emotional attunement combined with repeated conscious commitment. It is the pattern where two individuals again and again move toward each other instead of away from each other. And this behavior is not magical. It is deeply rooted in how the human brain is wired for attachment, safety, and meaning. From the moment we are born, our nervous system is designed to seek connection. Attachment theory, originally developed by John Bowlby and later expanded by Mary Ainsworth, explains that humans are biologically programmed to form emotional bonds because those bonds ensure survival. As infants, we look to caregivers for safety. If they respond consistently, our brain learns that connection equals security. If they respond unpredictably or not at all, our brain learns that connection equals anxiety or danger. Over time, these early experiences shape how we attach to romantic partners in adulthood. So when we talk about destiny in relationships, what we are really talking about is a powerful psychological alignment between two nervous systems that feel safe, choosing each other repeatedly. This choice is not about perfection. It is about regulation. When two people are destined to be together, their presence regulates each other's emotional state more often than it dysregulates it. When one is anxious, the other becomes steady. When one is overwhelmed, the other becomes grounding. This does not mean they never trigger each other. It means that even after conflict, misunderstanding, or distance, there is a pull toward repair. The brain's threat system calms faster in the presence of the other person. Cortisol decreases. Oxytocin increases. The body feels less guarded. And over time, this repeated biological experience builds trust. Now let us go deeper into behavior. When a person consistently chooses you, you will notice specific patterns. They communicate even when it is hard. They clarify misunderstandings, instead of letting assumptions grow. Their body language remains open during conflict. They lean in instead of leaning away. Their tone softens after arguments. They check in, not because they are insecure, but because they care about alignment. Psychologically, this reveals emotional maturity and secure attachment. It shows that their ego is not more important than the relationship. It reveals that their fear of vulnerability is smaller than their desire for connection. When someone prioritizes repair after conflict, it means their nervous system does not equate disagreement with abandonment. Many people unconsciously withdraw during tension because their brain interprets conflict as rejection. But when someone comes back to the conversation, even if they need a short break first, it indicates emotional resilience. It suggests they have either developed secure attachment or have done enough inner work to override old trauma patterns. They are not controlled entirely by fear. Observe also their consistency. Destiny is not proven in grand gestures. It is proven in patterns. If someone says they love you but disappears emotionally when life becomes stressful, that inconsistency reveals avoidance. Avoidant attachment styles often crave intimacy but fear dependency. So when closeness increases, they create distance to regulate their anxiety. If two people are truly meant to be together, the pattern is different. Stress does not eliminate effort. It may reduce energy temporarily, but it does not erase intentionality. They still show up. They still communicate. They still choose. Now let us examine what it means when a person does not show these behaviors. If someone avoids difficult conversations, changes the topic during emotional depth, or becomes defensive quickly, it often reveals unprocessed fear. Defensiveness is usually a shield for shame. Withdrawal is often protection against feeling inadequate. Overreacting can signal hypervigilance rooted in past betrayal. When someone cannot consistently choose you, it does not automatically mean they do not care. It may mean their nervous system associates intimacy with danger. But destiny, psychologically speaking, requires compatibility not only in attraction, but in emotional regulation capacity. Two people may love each other deeply, but if both are highly avoidant or both are highly anxious without awareness, their nervous systems may trigger more threat than safety. Real-life examples make this clearer. Imagine two people who argue about future plans. One wants stability. The other fears losing independence. In a relationship that is not aligned, this disagreement becomes a power struggle. Both try to win, both defend, both threaten to leave. But in a psychologically aligned relationship, the disagreement becomes a problem to solve together. The language shifts from you versus me to us versus the issue. That shift reveals a shared identity. Research in relationship psychology shows that couples who use collective language, such as we and us, during conflict tend to have stronger long-term satisfaction. This language reflects a cognitive integration where the partner is included in the self-concept. Another example is distance. Life sometimes separates people physically or emotionally. Work stress, family issues, personal growth phases. When two people are destined to be together, distance increases longing, but not detachment. They may miss each other intensely, but they do not emotionally replace each other quickly. Their commitment acts as an anchor. If someone quickly seeks emotional alternatives at the first sign of inconvenience, it often indicates low distress tolerance or a need for constant novelty. The brain can become addicted to dopamine spikes from new attraction. But lasting connection relies more on oxytocin-driven bonding and serotonin-based stability. Subconsciously, when two people are aligned, they mirror each other's micro-expressions. Their breathing patterns synchronize. Their heart rates can align during close contact. Neuroscience studies on interpersonal synchrony show that people in strong bonds often exhibit coordinated neural activity. This is not mystical. It is the brain's mirror neuron system at work. When you feel understood without explaining every detail, it is often because your partner is accurately reading subtle cues. They notice changes in tone, posture, and energy, and importantly, they respond with curiosity instead of accusation. Decision-making. Patterns also reveal destiny. When someone includes you in long-term planning without hesitation, it signals psychological integration. They do not see you as temporary. Their future imagination automatically contains your presence. Conversely, if someone avoids defining the future or keeps you separate from major life areas, it often indicates ambivalence. Ambivalence is not destiny. Ambivalence is internal conflict, and unresolved internal conflict eventually becomes relational. Instability. However, we must address a dangerous misconception. The idea of destiny can sometimes encourage passivity. Some individuals tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, or emotional neglect because they believe if it's meant to be, it will work out. This belief can create cognitive dissonance. The brain tries to reconcile painful evidence with hopeful narratives. Over time, this can damage self-esteem. You begin to question your perception, you rationalize red flags, you shrink your standards. This is not secure attachment. It is anxious attachment clinging to fantasy. The psychological side. Effects of believing in destiny without behavioral evidence can be severe. Chronic anxiety, rumination, hypervigilance, emotional burnout. When effort is one-sided, the nervous system remains in a state of threat. Cortisol stays elevated. Sleep quality decreases. Productivity declines because mental energy is consumed by relational uncertainty. Self-worth becomes externally dependent. You start measuring your value by how consistently someone responds to you. Over months or years, this pattern can lead to depressive symptoms, especially if rejection is repeated. On the other hand, in a truly aligned relationship where both consistently choose each other, mental health outcomes improve. Studies show that secure partnerships correlate with lower stress levels, better immune function, and higher life satisfaction. Emotional safety increases cognitive flexibility. When you feel supported, you take healthier risks in career and personal growth. You recover faster from setbacks. The relationship becomes a secure base, not a battlefield. Psychologists analyze these dynamics by observing patterns over time rather than isolated events. In therapy sessions, we listen for narrative consistency. Does the client describe repeated repair attempts from both sides or repeated abandonment cycles? We observe emotional regulation during storytelling. Does the person become overwhelmed when recalling conflict, indicating unresolved trauma? Or do they reflect with balance and insight? We examine attachment style indicators, fear of abandonment, discomfort with closeness, or ease with intimacy. We also pay attention to cognitive distortions. For example, if someone says, "If we were meant to be, it would be easy all the time," that belief reflects all or nothing thinking. No healthy relationship is free from effort. Destiny is not the absence of struggle, it is the presence of mutual resilience. Another distortion is mind reading, assuming the partner's silence means loss of love. In secure dynamics, individuals clarify instead of assume. Behavioral analysis includes noticing response time after conflict. Do both individuals attempt repair within a reasonable window? Do apologies include accountability, or are they defensive? Are boundaries respected? Boundaries are critical. When two people are truly aligned, they do not experience boundaries as rejection. They experience them as clarity. A person who respects your limits demonstrates emotional security. A person who repeatedly violates them reveals entitlement or insecurity. There is also the concept of emotional bids, introduced by psychologist John Gottman. An emotional bid is any small attempt to connect, such as sharing a story or asking a simple question. In strong relationships, partners turn toward these bids most of the time. In unstable relationships, partners frequently ignore or turn away. If two people are destined to be together, they consistently turn toward each other's bids. They respond, they engage, they show interest. And this happens in ordinary moments, not just dramatic ones. Let us consider fear. Even in aligned relationships, fear exists. Fear of loss, fear of vulnerability, fear of inadequacy. The difference is how the fear is managed. In secure bonds, fear becomes a topic of conversation. "I'm scared of losing you" is expressed rather than hidden. In insecure bonds, fear becomes control, jealousy, withdrawal, or testing behavior. Testing behavior is when someone creates artificial distance to see if the other person will chase them. This reveals insecurity and a need for reassurance rather than genuine destiny. Long-term consequences of not understanding this psychology can be painful. People may chase intensity instead of compatibility. They may confuse anxiety with passion because both create physiological arousal. The heart races, thoughts obsess, but anxiety-driven attraction often stems from unresolved attachment wounds. Destiny, psychologically defined, feels calmer than obsession. It feels stable. It may not always be dramatic, but it is deeply reassuring. In closing, if two people are truly meant to be together, the one thing that always happens is not magic. It is mutual, repeated, intentional choosing. Through conflict, through distance, through growth, they move toward each other. Their nervous systems learn safety in each other's presence. Their communication patterns show repair, not avoidance. Their decisions reflect integration, not hesitation. And their love is not proven by intensity alone, but by consistency. Destiny is not something that happens to you. It is something two psychologically aware individuals co-create. It is built in moments of patience, in difficult conversations, in accountability, in respect for boundaries, in shared growth. It is visible in body language, in tone, in effort, in reliability. And when it is real, it does not require constant convincing. It reveals itself through behavior. So if you ever question whether two people are destined to be together, do not look only at their chemistry. Look at their choices. Look at their patterns. Look at how they handle fear, conflict, and uncertainty. Because in the end, love that is meant to last is not defined by fate. It is defined by two minds and two nervous systems repeatedly saying, in action and not just in words, I choose you.